If you think you need to run 5, 10, or 20 miles every week to get in the best shape of your life, forget everything that told you more distance is always better. That's exactly how beginner runners end up with chronic shin splints, exhausted knees, and a complete loss of motivation by week 3. They assume that if they aren't logging massive, grueling miles, their effort barely counts. But science says otherwise.
Inside your body, more distance isn't better. The right distance, done consistently, is what triggers real transformation. And science has proven that there's a precise biological sweet spot for human endurance, running just 2 miles 3 times a week. 2 miles, which is roughly 3 kilometers, done 3 times a week is less than 6 total miles of running. Yet those 6 weekly miles trigger a massive, invisible miracle inside your heart, blood vessels, and joints that can completely rebuild your health without ever destroying your body. Let's break down what happens inside you when you embrace the power of running just 2 miles 3 times a week. First, the cardiovascular sweet spot. 2 miles takes most beginner and intermediate runners anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes to complete. That duration is long enough to elevate your heart rate into the optimal aerobic adaptation zone, forcing your heart muscle to expand its stroke volume and pump more blood per beat. But because it's only 2 miles, you stop long before your muscles run out of glycogen. Your body gets 100% of the heart and lung upgrades without incurring the massive systemic fatigue that comes from longer runs. Encouraging. Second, the tendon and joint miracle. Remember, your heart and lungs adapt in days, but your tendons, ligaments, and bones adapt much slower. When you run 2 miles, you apply just enough mechanical stress to stimulate bone-building cells and thicken your tendons. And because you are running only 3 times a week, you give your joints 48 full hours of recovery between sessions. In that 48-hour window, collagen synthesis peaks, rebuilding your connective tissue stronger than it was before. You stay in a continuous loop of strengthening, never crossing over into chronic inflammation or knee pain. Third, the hormonal sweet spot. Long, grueling runs spike your stress hormone cortisol, which can cause muscle breakdown, sleep disruption, and fat retention. But a short, focused 2-mile run does the exact opposite. It triggers a clean surge of dopamine, endorphins, and human growth hormone, burning fat, boosting your mood, and sharpening your focus for hours after you finish, all while keeping cortisol completely at bay. Here's where most runners mess this up. They look at 2 miles, think that's too easy, and try to turn those 2 miles into a desperate max-effort sprint. If you sprint your 2 miles until you're gasping for air, you ruin the entire biological process. Authoritatively, keep the pace easy. Keep your breathing steady through your nose whenever possible, and let the small distance do the heavy lifting for you. Think about it this way. Running 2 miles 3 times a week requires less than 1 hour of total effort out of your entire 168-hour week, less than 1% of your week. Yet in that single percent, you lower your resting heart rate, strengthen your joints, boost your metabolism, and build real, lasting endurance that stays with you for life. You don't need marathon mileage to completely transform your physical health. You just need 2 smart miles 3 times a week. So here's the whole truth in one sentence. Your body isn't transformed by the massive workouts you barely survive. It's transformed by the smart, manageable workouts you can repeat for the rest of your life. If 2 miles 3 times a week just became your new running plan, subscribe, because in our next video, we're breaking down how to fix knee pain before it ever starts. This is Dr. Runner. Consistent beats hard. I'll see you in the next one.